Welcome to another edition of Let the Brothers Speak. We are back with another week of therapy, another week of healing, another week of good conversation between some good brothers. How y'all feel? Everybody here?
Everybody here, yeah. Everybody in the house.
Everybody's in the house. What's going on? So how was you all's week, man?
I started off and want to kind of like start off a little bit different today. I'm gonna start with a 2-word check-in. We do 2-word check-in just to make sure, see where everybody is, from an intellectual standpoint, but also psychological. So my 2 words are gonna be optimistically ready. Optimistically ready. Optimistic because just what I feel like, what I'm manifesting in my life and things of that nature right now, I see that coming into fruition. Using the word I am in every statement. When I'm writing things down, I am this, I am that. I'm a great father. I'm a provider, things of that nature. Ready to tackle the world, man. I feel like I can do anything. I feel like I can do everything. So today I'm optimistically ready. And I pass it to my brother Day.
Sean Dave taking in my 2 words would be energized and positive. I'm at a point right now where I feel like I have so much life in me, have so much energy. I'm like, let's go, let's get it.
Get it.
With everything I'm doing when it comes to parenting, when it comes to work life, when it comes to taking care of myself, I'm just like, let's go. Just amped about everything. So I'm ready.
Okay. My words will be gratefully persevering because there are certain obstacles that I'm going through right now. And I'm at the point, though, where you realize I've started, rather than stressing out about it, saying that this is clearly the lowest point. So it's only one way to go from here. And the grateful point is knowing that he done did it for me time and time again. So through all the stuff I'm going through, Big Dog done did it for me before, so I know he's going to do it again.
Let's go.
Let's go. Ready?
All right, y'all. It's Mike Wells. I would say that it's focused and hopeful. There's a lot of things that are going on right now that I'm getting ready to transition to a retirement mode, which means that people are saying, well, what are you going to do? I said, well, I'm going to focus on the things that are important, building. Because we get so focused on being the employee for so long, it's time for me to start focusing on the entrepreneurial side, the creative, the innovative side. So I'm hopeful for these things. It's like I've had a lot of ideas. And if I told you some of the things that I've actually given away and watched my employer take them, I'm like, no. I could be making millions or billions of dollars. And my kids would always say, especially the second oldest daughter's like, why are you doing that? Because you are really smart and you come up with some great ideas, but you're not using them. And something hit me in the past couple of days. They said, I need to use that more creative side and make it profitable to me. So I'm hopeful for these things because I got a lot of things that will probably save a lot of lives and help people make things easier for their lives.
All right. Well, for me, I will say I am thankful and appreciative. This has been a very, 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 very long week for me. And my wife has been right there by my side. And I wouldn't have been able to make it through this week if she was not there, So I'm very thankful for the woman that God blessed me with. And I'm very appreciative of what she does for me and how she gives me my affirmations to keep me motivated, because she's right there beside me, we work each other's nerves at times, but still, she's right there. So I got to say thankful and appreciative. And I love it and I love her. So, all right.
Right on.
That's good. That's
right
good.
on.
That's good stuff.
Right
Good
on.
stuff.
Absolutely.
All right. So I guess it was a lot that happened within the last week. There's a whole lot that happened. But one of the things that I'm stoked about right now is the Negro League's records, the players in the Negro League's records being inducted into the major leagues. Was it the record books into their record books?
Yeah.
And forgive me for saying, but I know. Hang on. I know. There are a lot of you non-melanated folks who are very, very upset right now. But we're not gonna get into that. They're upset because your boy done broke everybody's record, Josh Gibson.
Mhm.
You know, now if you aren't aware of who Josh Gibson was, he played with the who was it? Who was the Grays? The Grays. He played with the Grays on the Negro Leagues. And his records, since the Negro Leagues weren't their records weren't included in the Major League Baseball, he was blowing everybody out the water. So now with his records being in the records of Major League Baseball, again, he's blown everybody out the water. So Babe Ruth got to take second place now behind Josh Gibson. You know, what do they call him? The Brooklyn Brawler, Smasher, or whatever. What the Sultan of Smash or whatever. That ain't him no more. Josh Gibson got it, and this just goes to show that we dominate any sport we get into for real.
Yes, sir.
They can try. I mean, if enough of us was playing hockey, I know it's a few of us on hockey right now, but if enough of us playing hockey, we would dominate that sport as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hey,
hey,
we're doing it with speed skating.
Yeah, hey, I'm just glad that they finally did it, and they started back in 2020. They got a committee together to get this going, and it took so long because they wanted to make sure they got all of their stats right because they didn't want nobody coming back. Nope. See, Babe Ruth did this. Josh Gibson didn't do that. No. They made sure they got people who, for real, Negro League historians who knew all the records and were accurate with all of that. So I applaud the MLB for doing that.
For sure.
So because hey, they were CYA themselves. So hey, good. That's a big up for that. I'm loving it.
So I got to take a look. It's actually the Homestead Grays.
Grays.
It's a city not too far outside of Pittsburgh.
Okay, right.
Yeah, because me being Baltimore, I knew about my Baltimore Black Sox. That was one of our thing.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I'm new into baseball. Like I watch it more so when the playoffs kind of pick up, just because like I'm really getting more into basketball, and of course I love football. Shout out to the Texas Rangers though, defending champions. I'm gonna throw that out there. But I think it's dope, and I just hope that kind of like how you said, like I hope that the non-melanin people can accept the stats for what they are, because I'm pretty sure a quick argument will be, oh, well, they didn't play in the major leagues, so they had lesser talent. So I think it should be accepted for what it is. I think it's amazing that they did the research and actually adapted it into the major leagues. I think it's amazing. I think it's beautiful. It just shows that, like you say, like we can get into anything. So let's not always get stuck on the same old sports. Like tap in. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I'm glad that they did the research.
Yeah.
And big ups to whoever did the research, who initiated the research. I'm with you, man. I feel like we dominate wherever we go. Whatever we're getting ourselves into, that we're wholeheartedly and passionate about, whether that be from the boardrooms to in between the lines on the athletic fields. Whatever we set our mind to, I believe in that we are greatness.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. So
I mean, history has shown that. You look at the Tuskegee Airmen,
time
you
and
hear
time
the
again.
term Buffalo Soldiers,
Mm-hmm.
right? That was given to us from the Native Americans. They said that our fighting was so vicious, it was like stampeding buffaloes, and that's why they called us
The Buffalo Soldiers. Yep.
Wow.
Something to add to that before Big Bro take it over. You know, the crazy thing, y'all know the movie Top Gun.
Yeah.
It's based off of a certain skin tone. Well, if they actually were to go back to the original Top Gun, the first people to win Top Gun was actually a black air crew.
Yeah.
Just throw that out there.
All that good information and historical points of view and lens. Yeah, I do. I like that. And I didn't know that. So thank you for sharing that. I think that this is a very, very good thing. I think it shows things from a different perspective as I look at it a little bit deeper and I'm listening to the conversations that we're having and the discussions that we're having here. And one of the things that I thought about is a couple of things I thought about. One, how many of those owners look like us? That's the first thing, right? Okay. If they didn't look like us, there had to be some type of vote that happened back in 2020 or 2019 for this to even occur, right? So when you look at it from that perspective, I guess my question would be to them, why would you do something like that, if that makes sense, right? Why would you, all these records that are already existing and things of that nature, they're already here. They've been here for centuries. We got the people like the Babe Ruths and, you know, things of that nature. Why would you go and do that? And it has to be, in my opinion, the love for the game. It has to be that. It has to come down to that, which then brings this big, I guess we'd say a microcosm of life, in my opinion, right? Is that when we're, as human beings, focused on what we should be focused on, then the outcome typically comes out the way it should comes out, right? What do I mean by that? These people were able to do the research, do the homework, and regardless of the outcomes, because they could have skewed the outcomes, right?
Yeah.
They still had those outcomes to come out in favor of people that look like us, if that makes sense, right? I think this is a learning experience for companies. The NBA, if they haven't done that. Other organizations in other fields to look at things like this. Whereas really prevalent, and you know I'm a stickler for this, is in our schools. I can remember coming up, you know, they told us Christopher Columbus discovered America when there's all these people already here and things of that nature, right? I don't know if you remember this, but Pluto used to be a planet.
Going back and forth.
It keep going back and forth, things of that nature.
Planet right now.
We're a dwarf planet is what I think they're calling it right now. But the whole thing about research is this, and I think David Banner said it like this, like, I'm so gung-ho about trying to teach my people how to think. For one reason, though, because I could be wrong at what I'm telling you. It's a powerful statement, like, I could be wrong. And then guess what the MLB said? We was wrong. Let's go back and do the research and get this information in here. So I just got to applaud them for that, man. And most definitely got to applaud our people for persevering, you know, holding those things down. And the people that kept those stats, like you said, the historians and things of that nature, were able to keep those things and preserve those things. It's actually a podcast for the Negro Leagues on Sirius Radio.
Oh, really?
That I get to listen to sometimes as I'm driving. So it gives you like a lot of information and things of that nature. So again, big ups to the MLB and big ups to anybody who's got them records now.
Yeah.
Right, that's awesome.
I just enjoy it. I used to hate history. I'm gonna tell you, history was not my favorite thing in high school. Yes, until I realized if you don't learn your history can be turned to his story. So that's what's going on with Florida right now.
That's what history is.
If you get it, you get it from from Florida, you know, Governor DeSantis,
You know,
obviously we came here on a dinner cruise and we had no jobs in Africa and we were bored. You know, if you listen to the historians, they'll tell you there was nobody here other than those native, the indigenous people that met the pilgrims. But then you find out real history, there were 350 million indigenous people already here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to start looking at things. Then they started looking at the history. I started looking at histories of other things. They were talking about the history of the pyramids. The pyramids were around well before Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
So it was black people that created those things.
If you also look at some of the pyramids that's here in North America and South America, you may not see them, but there's a lot of them underground, right? There's a lot of them underground. So like when you drive through Louisiana and stuff like that, you see those big old mounds and things of that nature. Some of those things have been determined to find out they were actually pyramids and things of that nature that they were building. When you look at Mount Rushmore, and you know nobody can go over there no more because it was some belief, but about the indigenous people were had, you know, a place where there was a lot of good materials and things of that nature. And one of the things that is kind of striking to me is that somebody made this statement is that why humankind fight over dirt. And what I mean by that, like the diamond that actually comes out is pressurized dirt in some shape, form, or fashion. It starts off as that, right? And then it gets to a point where then we put a value on that. And then like the resources, we're fighting over those things when there's plenty of resources for everybody, right? And when you see things like that, and I think we had a discussion about this last time, it typically goes back to, you know, if I feel like that my resources are going to be cut off, I'm going to go and get somebody else's resources so mine don't get cut off, right?
Right.
And it's always simply trying to get in. And what I teach people with behavior, I'm always trying to get away from something or get to something. Like, you know, that's the human condition. I'm trying to get away from something that's hurting me, or I'm trying to get to something I think that's going to help me. And we try to make it real bigger than that, in my opinion. And to me, it never is. Like it always get back down to that root.
Yeah.
So it's best to keep it simple.
I think so, man.
That does make sense.
Yeah, I think it's so best to keep it simple. So
it's so controversial, it might make people uncomfortable. Let's talk about Trump, y'all.
Okay.
Respectfully, former President Trump. You know, I like to, because I always demand that Obama gets his respect as, hey, that's former President Obama. So regardless of how he got it, former President Trump.
Absolutely.
Let's how do y'all feel about the verdict?
You know, I'm gonna be the first one to say that I kind of sinfully enjoyed it because I knew some people whose parents helped build the Taj Mahal, had a construction company. They lost everything when that man filed for bankruptcy. And a man that got away got the nickname Teflon Don because he could screw over people and still, quote unquote, stay rich. I sort of felt good that he got it back finally. But in the same aspect, my thing is this: we've always been told, if you don't want to do the time, don't do the crime. So finally, we got somebody that is supposedly rich and powerful to get his. We had a kid here in Dallas, Fort Worth, that got away with killing somebody, and they called it affluenza, you know, because he was so rich, he just didn't know any better. And then you have, you know, people that managed to be wealthy, like Olympians, and get off for things, the same things that you and I would not get away with. So for once, it was good to see even one of the people that was on that jury that got no news other than from Truth Social say, No, he's guilty. That meant that you had to been overwhelmingly crooked in order to get that. And I mean, nobody would have assumed 34 counts. You probably would have got, I was assuming 17. I
So
said,
it was
they'll probably get him
34?
for half.
34?
34. They got him. He was over 34. So he does really good with screwing up.
So on those 34 counts, has he been sentenced yet?
No,
No, he
sentencing happens on July 11th,
July 11th?
which is a wonderful day. That's 7-Eleven day. So he can get a free Slurpee on his way to jail.
Here's the
You think he go to jail?
The kicker is that he might not actually serve time.
Yeah.
It better ain't go to jail.
Well, the judge said, you keep running your mouth, you will serve time. He ain't shut up yet. So
It's Trump.
now the call is going to be on this judge if he going to stick by his word or not, because the judge said he could just be on parole, or if he keep running his mouth like he doing, even calling the judge, what did he call it? He called the judge, he called him out of his mind or whatever. Compromise and all this other stuff. And now it's up to the judge to say, okay, look, I told you to shut your mouth, but you didn't. So now you're going to do 4 years in prison, in a federal prison. I hope the judge hold up to his words.
Yeah.
Because, dude ain't shut up yet. He's still talking.
So this kind of goes back, and I think we had this conversation at our last talk. Do you think that people, whether that's brown, black, white, Asian, whatever that is, they see something like this, and from what I understand, he's still been able to be on the ballots.
Yes.
So I think he's still able to be on the ballots, right? Yes. So then, does this reinforce that thought, that we talked about last time? Like, does my vote really even count?
Well, the thing about it is, the sentencing is actually, I think, 4 days before the Republican National Convention.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they actually could intentionally say he goes to jail, even if they can actually say, no, we don't want him on the ballot, and put anybody else.
Yeah.
And right now, the only person that, even though she ended her campaign, could be thrown in there, and that's Nikki Haley.
Yeah, Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley is in his camp, though, correct?
Supposedly.
He's endorsed she's endorsed by Trump, correct?
Yeah.
No. She endorsed Trump.
Yes. She endorsed him in the man who he practices Hinduism. I can't remember his name though. I don't even want to butcher his name. But I like some of his perspective, because he actually called out like media sources on certain things. I think like what you're saying. If y'all let that man stay on the ballot, all I'm going to say is, well, then y'all should show more leniency and take certain things off of former convicted felons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because really that's going to really, otherwise, what are you showing other than white, rich privilege? The fact that you can be convicted and stay on we're not talking about a regular job. We're talking about the job.
Yeah.
The thing about it is, sorry to interject, but the thing about it is, you have security clearances, top secret security clearances that felons cannot get. And now you're giving it to a person that is a felon.
And so if you give it to this one person, how then can you deny anybody else?
Yeah. So you telling me a felon can't be on the ballot? A felon can't be the president?
If you're a felon, you cannot get top secret clearance.
Can a felon be on the ballot?
He could be on the ballot.
But where can you go with it? Because like you said, when it comes to actually, because you're privy to the utmost secret, is like with the military, like there's certain levels to it, and the TS is the top one. If you can't be if you're not allowed to get that type of clearance because of your background, well, President Trump, former President Trump, whatever you want to call him, Orange Cheeto, whatever you want to call him, now technically has a background.
Yeah.
He now has a background, bro. So it's like,
can a felon be the president?
If Trump can, why can't? Why,
well,
why
that's,
not?
that's the question.
A felon
because
can be the
technically,
president.
There's no statute that says that a felon cannot be the president.
Exactly.
But there is a statute that says
A felon
that
can't
a felon
vote.
cannot have top secret.
So it's kind of
But then-
contradictive then,
Yeah,
huh?
but then it makes you ask a question: if a felon can be the president of the United States, why then are you denying me any job in America
Based
because
on
of my background?
my background.
Because whether I sold weed or I robbed a place, it doesn't matter. The president of the whole entire United States
Right.
is
is a felon.
Yeah.
Because on paper, it just is felon is a felon.
A felon
Yeah.
is a felon.
And
It's
not
spelled
only
the same, whether you're president,
A felon
whether
is
you're
a
me,
felon.
Is
whether
it
you.
spelled the same?
It's spelled the same.
It's spelled the
But look,
same.
I got
And
one
not
point to
only
make.
and not only that, convicted felons aren't even allowed to
To
vote.
vote. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. They're not allowed to vote.
So
They
you're
not-
telling me I can run for president, but I can't vote?
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
I got one point to
But
make.
here's the funnier part.
How do you,
It also bans them from travel. There are 37
And
countries, including Canada and Mexico, that will not let a felon in their country.
And y'all know how much he used Air Force One when he was president. Y'all know we heard about it every time on the news.
yeah, you going everywhere.
What you got, bro?
How do you think it looks for America to prosecute a former president? How do you think that looks to the other countries?
Honestly,
I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like it looks bad on America. That we elected someone that's committing these crimes, and furthermore, yeah, I feel like it looked bad on us, and we're prosecuting, a former president.
here's why I'm gonna disagree with you, because it can show going forward that. Now, do I think like certain people like hate Trump to the point of where they was going to do whatever they could to finally get something on him? Possibly, yes. But does it show that nobody is above the law in a way? Even though we know there are, hopefully that could be a turn in the right direction of we'll go after you no matter who you are. Because say this was Putin, they would wish they could go after him.
Mhm.
Like say this is one of those countries where they have the dictatorship where basically they have to wait till they rise up as a people and they pull them out of office and they beat them to death type thing. Like this could be a great starting point for us as Americans, showing that regardless of your position, we'll come get you.
Yeah.
I don't see it being a turning point because
You're right. I'm just saying it could be.
it could be. And in my opinion, I don't see it being a turning point because all the police, they kill people for no reason. All of the judges that give the maximum amount of times for small crimes.
True.
Depending on who you are,
Yeah.
how many people like you or go with it.
But it has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So if it starts here, well, that judge or that cop who didn't get no time and he got a administrative leave. So President Trump can get convicted, but we're not going to convict this cop. Who's better than who? And then if one is better than the other, what are you teaching us as a people? You are right that there's still going to be a lot of CEOs and stuff.
We
Yeah.
got a long way to grow.
But I think we should use it as a hey, from here on out, like nobody can't be touched.
Like an
And it's not saying
example?
people are perfect.
Yeah, we should. But I don't think they're gonna.
Yeah, I don't think they will. But here's a perspective, right? Recently reading this book, and I hate that I can't say the name of it, but they got this thing in there talking about America and all these other countries, right? And they end up putting them on this continuum, right? And you have loose countries and tight countries, if that makes sense, right? And loose typically means is that you got freedom of press, you got things of this nature, individuality and individualistic values and morals are upheld. And then in these tighter countries, it's more collectivism, right? And collectivism is like we're a bond, we do things together. So when you look at places like Singapore, they would be more tight because you can actually go to jail if you pee in the elevator, and they will lock the elevator and make sure the cops come get you. If you throw gum on the street, you can get up to about 2 years in prison, things of that nature, right? So you got tight and loose, right? My question would be to you all, what does it say about America being one of those loose countries? Because in a tight country, none of that would even be apparent for the president to be on trial, if that makes sense. Yeah. So there's pros and cons about everything that we have, right? Especially here in America. But our looseness, so to speak, gives us the opportunity to even prosecute someone of this nature.
I think
now I will. The one thing I'm more concerned about is if he does win the re-election and the Supreme Court provides him presidential immunity.
Mm-hmm.
What it essentially does, it changes our democracy into an authoritarian system. Because at this point, he could say, hey, you know what? This guy looks like he could beat me. Or, hey, you know what? I don't want to give up the presidency. I don't want to give up this leadership. And from now on, my kids take it over.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what we want as a country. I mean, this democratic experiment, that we'll call it, has had its up and downs, right? But for the most part, it's worked. Sometimes we have to agree to disagree. Sometimes we got to fight to get one end or the other. I don't believe in a two-party system. I always hated it. But I mean, as long as we can get something going where it's checks and balances. Once that Supreme Court got stacked to a bunch of people that are just sycophants to Donald Trump, as soon as he becomes president again, if he becomes president again, we're in trouble.
Can I say something to that? And what you said about things being loose, I think that's so true. But if people want something more strict, understand that you got to give up your way of life. Because like you say, when I've deployed, I've been to like say Dubai and them where you can't, like you say, you can't spit on the ground. Like there's certain things you can't do. So like if you want the result of their type of leadership, then you understand not only are you getting their leadership, but you're getting the way they live as a people. So it's like, what do you want your freedoms in this way? Because a lot of people here, if you like America, chances is you'll probably like it if you were in, say, France, because their freedoms, they're kind of lax like us in a lot of ways. So it's like, what are you willing to sacrifice? And to your point, I'll tell this to people, and y'all not gonna believe this. Because we always argue about how we really haven't been liking the candidates in the Republican and the Democrat Party. You won't believe this, but there are more than 2 parties on that ballot.
Oh, yeah.
I say that again because everybody like, well, we either stuck with Trump or we're stuck with, say, Biden. No, you're not. If you just start looking into the other parties, we never considered the Tea Party, the Libertarian. There's so many other parties, but we have been so caught in a cycle and we're so stuck on what we always used to do that, hey, either you vote majority Democrat or you vote Republican.
And that's why that's one of the reasons.
Something else a chance. And then you're not, because if I'm being honest, I'm not really fond of both because Trump's his stimulus package though helped in that sense of financially, it backfired on the inflation. And then on the same end, I don't like how he didn't use, Obama had a protocol already in place for COVID when it broke out and he chose to just not use it. And then with Biden, there's certain things as Democrats that I feel like y'all have always played this same card. And us as my people, I feel it in a lot of ways, we always end up in the same situation. So let's just like do a little bit more due diligence rather than what you see on the TV, like actually research what some of these people are doing. That's why I said, like, I like the young man, even that was a Republican. I wish Bernie Sanders was in a running because you may not like some of the things he agree with, but something that I value deeply, and it's only because I'm at a job now that I say I don't pay like health insurance, education and medical expenses should be free for us as citizens because that should be your birthright. So please stop just looking at, oh man, this one is a Republican, either I gotta vote for him or this one is a Democrat. If we really just expanded our mind, like you said, if we started to think, if we realized that, if I decided to start going past Republican and Democrat, and I looked into some of these other people that are running for office, we possibly could change it right there. Since we don't like those two candidates, there are possibly 2 to 3 or 4 other options.
Well,
And we just
You
left
need to
with
come
it.
on over to this side, brother. Come on over to the Republican side.
And see,
I like that, Nigo. I like that.
I want to go with whoever is gonna, because a lot of times you may not get all of the results in their campaign or
Yeah.
in their time of office. So like, I'm going for who might affect me or my kids.
Self-interest.
You know, because I'm like, I need something that's going to actually help my community. So when I lay down, I know that my family's good. But if I want that, everybody got it's like a drug. You want that fix. You need that. I need to feel it right now.
Yep.
Sometimes you may not know nothing about business, but you need to invest in these politics because these politics is going to help how your life is. So
yeah,
I'm not neither Democrat or Republican. I'm for who has the best perspective or idea that could help my life as a whole, my community, my country. Because if my country succeed, I succeed. So when people are like, I hate Trump, I may dislike some of his points, but I understand this. If that man fails as my leader, the country as a whole gets it on the back end. So,
and that's why, you know, one, I got 2 points on that. I've always supported this thing called ranked choice voting. So if you can't get somebody to get 50% plus one, they don't win. So it gives a chance to possibly get that Green Party, the Libertarian Party, the Laborist Party, the Democratic Socialists, whatever party that's out there, you know, the Laborist Party. There may be 100 of them. We just don't know.
They just don't get. They don't
get. And that's why I also think that the presidential debates need to have every single candidate that is viable on there. Even if it's only a 3%, they're getting 3%.
Yeah.
They need to be.
Well, if we can have felons on there.
Right.
The other thing that I say this all the time because everybody asks me why am I an independent, and I always tell them the same thing. If you need to get to whatever place you're going to, and you were only told you could have one mode of transportation, how are you ever going to drive to Hawaii? Because you love your car. How are you going, if you love cruise ships, how are you going to get to Kansas? Can't get there. You know, how are you going to fly to this little tiny island, maybe somewhere like in the Bahamas or Fiji, something like that? You can't fly there unless you got one of them duck type planes, you know? So you can't catch a train every place. So that's why I'm saying, you know, like you said, I'm going to choose the person that has the best overall character to them. Are they a good, honest person? Are they?
None of them are.
None of them are. But
I said none of them are.
None of them are.
But
Yeah.
I'm saying if you're going to compare, let's say fruit, a grape and a grapefruit ain't the same thing. I can eat one grape and I'll still be hungry. But one grapefruit, I might be able to survive with, even though I might not like grapefruit.
Yeah.
So, you know, you gotta deal with what you gotta deal with.
Yeah. Hopefully I can put a ball on this and we can go to the next subject. But I'll say this, and I think I said this last time. I just still think as Black people, we're only participating in the election process in one way, and that's by voting, in my opinion. I think we need to pool our resources, get our own party, and bag who we want to bag, if that makes sense. The reason why Democratic and Republican are back because the money is behind them, right? And when you get big pharmaceutical companies backing this particular person, when they get into office, guess what they're going to do? They're going to do what the people with the money ask them to do, right? So with that said, if we have the resources to back a candidate, most likely they're going to do what we're asking them to do, or we're going to pull that money, if that makes sense. And then as well, I think you brought this up last time, or maybe Miko brought this up about us spending more than any other, ethnic group. So we're controlling a lot of we got a lot of buying power, put it like that. And
$2 trillion per year.
$2 trillion per year. Now think about it. We just took 1% of that, right? If that automatically went into a fund, right? Right.
That'd be 2 million, 20 million.
So you look at it from that perspective, but if we do that per year, think about 20 years.
Amazing.
Right? Think about the interest on that too, right? Think about, if we're able to use those resources in an advantageous way that could help generations and generations and generations to come. Like if we just came off that 2.1 trillion and took that one and did that with that and pulled our resources, some of these conversations we wouldn't have, because now we can go to the table and we can sit. It's just like me being able to go into Foot Locker tomorrow and I got the money to buy the shoe and I can do it, right? If I got something I can present to this person that's running, whether that's Democratic, Green Party, AJ Party, whatever it is, if I can present this to this person and they're able to accept, guess what this comes with? Oh, this comes with some recommendations that's going to happen, if that makes sense, because that's what they're doing.
Some recommendations.
Yeah.
Somebody we nominate to be our voice.
There you go.
Apple juice for president.
I was just gonna say that. How about Appleberry for president?
He got the suit. He got the suit.
I got my resources ready.
Look, 2028, Appleberry for president. We're gonna get the campaign going, brother.
I got my resources ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you can't see it, he got the socks too. If you don't know, he got the socks with the suit.
Oh yeah, here's
the sauce. He got the sauce.
That's the sauce.
He got the sauce.
I'm back in it.
You back on barbecue now. He don't need no sauce on that. Pause. No diddy. Whichever one you want. I'm just.
Yeah.
I want to do this. And I know we just got the sign from my brother, but I do want to do this, man. I would just say, I just want to thank you, brothers, man. This opportunity to sit down and talk with you all, as Chris say, every time is therapeutic. But I'm really getting out of my comfort zone, if that makes sense. Not from the perspective that I don't like talking in front of people, but I don't like giving myself to people too early, if that makes sense, right? And with this group, I've been able to do that. I've been able to do that at a high level as well, and not be judged for it. If that makes sense. I ain't heard about it on social media or any of that type of stuff, because I've had some of those type of things. And probably y'all probably can allude to this as well if you've been in groups. I know you said you had podcasts before and things of that nature, but I've worked with people in the entertainment business for a long time, and it's not always this genuine. I would say that, right? It's not always this genuine, and something that we're doing. We're building some bonds, and I'm going to say this. I hope you're ready for it. People going to try to attack it.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
People going to try to attack it. So let's stay strong, brothers. We all are one. And we all most definitely going to let the brother speak.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, we going to leave it right there. And we will call this one a wrap, put this one in the record books. And like I do every week, remember, like, share, subscribe, follow, all of that good stuff. Hit that thumbs up button for us. And again, look, we didn't go to the mailbag tonight because we had a lot of stuff to get into tonight. So we didn't get into the mailbag this evening. But usually, if you have a question you want to ask the brothers and you want them to address it, email us at ltbspodcast@yahoo.com, and we will get that question asked for you, and we will address it, and we're gonna start doing some other things too. We kind of like I think Brother Appleberry said something a couple weeks ago, saying let's just not just sit here every week and talk. Let's get out there into the community and let's get some action going. Let's go do some let's help get some people registered to vote. Let's go take meals to the homeless. Let's do something. So I'm thinking, I like that, guys. You know, let's get out in the community. Let's just we don't want to just sit here every week and just talk. Let's get out into the community and put some action to all this talking and therapy we doing.
Absolutely.
That's, you know, so look for us. We coming your way somewhere, somehow. All right. And until then, we will see you all next week, same time. Every Wednesday, episode comes out at noon. And we'll see you all next week. Have a good night, everybody.
Peace.
Let the brother speak.